Hazbin Hotel Season 2 is coming right around the corner, so might as well go over some of the characters in the show. What better character to look at than the Princess of Hell herself and main character, Charlie Morningstar. Charlie is the daughter of Lucifer and Lilith, a fallen angel and first woman on Earth. Growing up, Charlie lived a pretty sheltered life as the Princess of Hell, along with her parents, Lucifer and Lilith, who taught her how to be nice to everyone, even though they lived in hell. Even though her parents' relationship seemed pretty good at first, they became estranged, and she became estranged to both her father and mother later on in her life. Which may be why she went through a goth phase in junior high school, which apparently she did attend high school. Not exactly sure what her age is approximately, because her parents are extremely old, technically speaking, but she seems to be roughly, current day, around 20 years old. Not the her 20s, basically. Mid-20s, maybe, I don't know. Personality-wise. Age-wise, who the hell knows? At some point, she became acquainted with the family of the Eldritches, including one Helsa Eldritch, who was the same grade as Charlie. They did not get along, apparently, as the character we haven't really seen much of was described as kind of a Regina George character, which is ironic since Charlie's voice actor played Caddy in the Mean Girls musical. Fun fact for you. So I guess we'll see more of that in Season 2. So even though these two characters apparently hate each other, we don't know much detail, it is known that these characters did interact quite a bit, including Charlie being in a relationship with Saviathan, who is the son of the family and brother to Helsa, and there's their prom photo apparently, though they broke off for unknown reasons, maybe because he was a dickhole. I don't know, he looks like a dick. At some point, she decided to make it out on her own, where she found a fallen angel who she didn't know was a fallen angel at the time, Vaggie. They quickly became friends and then lovers. Isn't that sweet? Seeing the state of hell seemed to make Charlie seem to be pretty unhappy because she realized that all of her civilians are being mass murdered by angels on extermination days, which is it's not a very nice thing. So with the help of her new girlfriend Vaggie, she decides to start the Happy Hotel, which is a hotel for sinners who want redemption, but it doesn't really go over well because, well, sinners don't really care about redemption. So Charlie tries to find sinners to help him out, the first one being Angel Dust, who is prostituting himself on the street. She sees the inner beauty inside of him, despite the fact that, well, he's a whore. Literally, he likes to whore himself out. And he's also contractually obligated to do so, but we'll talk about him a lot more in his own separate video. But anyway, eventually he decides to go join the hotel, mostly because he needs a place to stay for free, especially to get away from his boss, Valentino. But also, because maybe there is something good inside him. 2 weeks after that, Charlie joins the newsroom to advertise her hotel with Katie Killjoy, who's a bitch, in case you couldn't tell. Unfortunately for her, the citizens of Hell, including Blitzo, they're pre-Hell of a Boss. And unfortunately for her, her song doesn't even go over very well with them, which is a shame, because I like the song a lot. And the show ends with her fighting the host, which is not a good sign. Well, everything seems to be going pretty bad. There is one sinner who seems to be very interested in Charlie's idea. The extremely powerful and evil radio demon Alistair decides he wants to help out Charlie because he thinks it's funny as hell. Charlie, being desperate for visitors, decides to trust Alistair without him using any of his demon powers for the most part. But that will end up backfiring. Probably, we don't know. I think it's going to backfire. Maybe it was a good idea because Alistair brings in 2 employees for Charlie, including Nifty, who's their maid, and Husk, who's forced to be their bartender. But maybe Alistair has a little too much control because he renames her hotel from Happy Hotel to the Hazbin Hotel, which is when you roll the credits, because that's the name of the series. It's not been a week after the extermination, and things aren't still going very well for the hotel. But Charlie does get great news from her dad, who gives her the permission to actually attend a meeting with angels. At the meeting, Charlie meets with Adam, the first man, who is very condescending and he's a giant asshole. Charlie tries to explain her idea of redemption, but Adam is incredibly uninterested in the idea, as he tells her instead that he's actually going to come back even earlier to do another extermination because he actually hates sinners that much, which is exactly the opposite of what she was trying to do. Even though this meeting failed, she's still into the idea of redeeming, and even tries to redeem Serpentius, a very weird snake guy who doesn't seem like he's worth redeeming. And he also happens to be working for Vox at this time, who is the arch-nemesis of Alistair. It's pretty clear from her trust exercises that she does not have a very well understanding of how the sinners actually work, as she is pretty goofy for her exercises, including making them act out really weird scenarios. But despite all that, she is still extremely trusting. Even after Serpentius is outed as being a double-crossing spy, she decides to give him another chance and say, it starts with sorry. And she ends up being kind of right, because his redemption makes Serpentius actually want to redeem himself after being ditched by Vox for failing miserably, and becomes an essential part of the hotel. even though he's not a bad boy, which is a very bad thing. Even though these sinners seem like they're beyond redemption, Charlie still tries to help them out with the help of Vaggie. As the relationship grows stronger, even the stronger between the sinners themselves, which seems to be pretty nice. Though sometimes Charlie becomes too involved with her clientele, including the time where she tries to stand up for Angel's boss, Valentino, which is not a very smart idea since she owns the contract to Angel's soul. And this actually ends up making Angel's job a lot harder because of her, which causes her to profusely cry and apologize to him. But it's a-okay. With the next extermination coming very soon, she decides to get the help from her dad, who she's very anxious to meet because of their strained relationship, and showing off her hotel to him. Through the Powers song, she's able to convince her father to give her a second meeting with the Angels, even though after he resists because of the fact they're pretty much assholes. This meeting actually allows Charlie to visit heaven for the first time ever with Vaggie, who doesn't seem to want to be there for reasons that are pretty obvious, but Charlie is not aware of. Charlie pretty much loves heaven for all the reasons that are pretty obvious, since it's a place that seems like it's made for her. But she's there to protest against the exterminations, which don't go over too well because she uses dictionary quotes, which are never a good idea to do in court. But she's able to change the court a little bit by showing them footage of Angel Dust, a sinner that she's claimed to have redeemed. Due to Heaven's shenanigans, they don't particularly agree with it, but a lot of them start to, including Emily, who's one of the higher-up seraphims. And while it seems to be going good, Adam reveals the fact that her girlfriend, Vaggie, is actually an angel, part of the exterminations that she's fighting so hard against. Which ends up being a shock to Charlie, and also the fact that the lead of the court decides that they're going to reject her proposal anyway. She's not having it very well because of the fact that she feels like she was betrayed by her own partner, as well as the fact that Alistair is taunting her by the fact that she failed miserably. She actually makes a deal with Alistair, who takes advantage of her weakened state, to make a deal about revealing the fact that angels have weaknesses. Which seems like it might be a bad idea to actually do a deal with Alistair, but he helps her out by helping her recruit the cannibals in the cannibal town to help fight the angels with the angelic spears that can actually hurt angels. And also, her and Vaggie come to a realization that they love each other. Isn't that sweet? So Charlie and the rest of her sinners at the Hazbin Hotel are ready to fight a new barrage of exorcist angels, which goes pretty well at first until Adam gets involved, as he ends up killing Sir Penches with a pretty easy move that was kind of anticlimactic. And they even kill one of her pets, Dazzle, I think it is. He wasn't really that big of a character. Charlie's the last line of defense against Adam, and even though she has a lot of demonic power that she doesn't use very often, it seems like it's not much of a match for him. That's until her father comes and decides to help her out, which he ends up being the thing that changes the tide of the battle. And Adam is finally slain by the least likely person you expect to do it, being Nifty, who stabs him multiple times in the back. But unfortunately, some of her friends are dead, as well as the fact that her entire hotel is destroyed, and she felt like it's all her fault. But her dad gives her a pep talk for the Power song because it is a musical after all, and he's like, I'm going to help you rebuild it this time, and I'll be a helpful this time like last time where I kind of failed too. She makes a memorial to Sir Penches, and now all her friends are ready to start the new Hazbin Hotel with the help of new sinners here and there because of people getting attracted to the idea of the fact that they killed a lot of angels to that day. So the end, it really was a happy day in hell, and that's Charlie's story so far. That's all we know about the character for now, but it looks like in Season 2, she's going to be dealing with the fame of her hotel and getting a lot new sinners due to the fact that her hotel is much more popular due to their extermination killing spree. And she'll also have more romantic scenes with Vaggie in the second season. But anyway, that's the end of this video. Hope you liked it, and stay tuned for more.